I'm going to survive 100 days as a beekeeper. With the help of the Bumblezone mod, I can enter the beehive and discover a whole new world inside. From flying on a giant bee to discovering a bunch of new items that are gonna help me survive the dangers of the beehive and build up the ultimate cozy beekeeper base. Unless I accidentally anger the bees. It's day number 1 and we spawn in this random oak forest. The first thing I'm gonna do is chop down a tree, and then we can make a crafting table and craft our first wooden tool. And then we can explore the area a little bit and look for some stone, and I see some down there. And it's not in a cave, which is perfect, so nothing can creep on me. And after crafting all of the stone tools, I spotted some sheep in the plains. So of course I have to go over there and secure myself a bed. Sneak attack! So now we can sleep away the night. Well, not yet because it's still day. Which means we can still cover some distance because I have somewhere to be. It was not that cave. I want to go and find a flower forest because that's where bees spawn. And it's also a really pretty place to live. I did just see a bunch of iron underwater. So what I'm gonna do is craft a door, and then we can just jump in. And then we can place the door next to the iron, and then we can go inside and combine this without drowning or having a slowed mining effect. After mining out a bunch of iron underwater, I made some furnaces to cook my food and the iron, and then the day was already over. So it's time to go to bed. It's day 2, so let's grab our stuff and let's keep looking for the flower forest. And also stop at every cave opening I see to grab a bunch of useful resources. After mining out a bunch of coal, I was on my way again, traveling through an acacia biome, which was definitely not the place I wanted to live. But I did find some sugarcane growing by the shore, so I grabbed that because you never know when you might need it. I was running low on food, so I unalived a bunch of innocent farm animals, but then I spotted the flower forest in the distance. I can't believe it was actually so close to spawn. Quick cow killing spree. And we are here, and there's the first beehive. This biome is basically an oak forest with a variety of beautiful flowers scattered all over the ground, which is of course the perfect habitat for bees. Hi bee! Oh my gosh, I just got close to the beehive, and it's telling me check out the Bumblezone's advancement tab for everything on the mod, how to enter and exit the dimension. I'm definitely not ready to go there yet. So first we gotta find a good place to spam our chest monsters, build a beautiful base, and then we gotta get stronger to enter that dimension. Also, hello? Buttercups? Why is that so cute? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, guys. Oh my gosh. It's a moo bloom. Don't mind me eating sheep meat in front of you. Now it's running away. I'm so sorry. This is actually so cool. I definitely want to keep some moo blooms later too. But first let's climb this hill to get a better overview of the flower forest. Yay! There's another moo bloom! Wait, moo bloom pens and beehives. This is actually one of the modded structures, the beekeeper's hut. And it looks like they keep moo blooms and a bunch of bees. Is the guy home too? Hello? I don't see him anywhere, but I see all of these barrels full of resources, so don't mind me. I'm just gonna steal all of it. Don't get angry at me, bees. I'm not stealing. Ah! Wait, he's here! Wait, that was so creepy! I'm just gonna place my Minecraft bed next to him. This guy's actually the beekeeper villager, and he trades buttercups for emeralds. He also has this leather helmet. I'm just gonna take it. The bees are pollinating on the moo bloom's back. That is so funny. But I kept traveling because I want to find the perfect base location, so it doesn't just have to be in a flower forest. It also needs to have a pretty surrounding area and ideally a bunch of useful structures. And it looks like there's another beekeeper hut. And I can also see a village over there. So I went into the beekeeper's house to steal all of his stuff, rest from the long journey. He's judging me though. Bye, Mr. Bee Man. And now we can go and check out the village because sometimes they have really cool resources. And they also have another bee guy. Wait, and this structure? Hello? Copper golems? Should I bring them back to life? Yay, he's alive again. Be free, little golems. And now that I've done a good deed, we can do something bad again and steal from the villagers. They didn't have anything useful though except bread and potatoes, but I just found a really cool area because look, there's a beekeeper's house, and it's a flower forest by a small lake, and it is super close to the village. So maybe after stealing from the previous 2 beekeepers, we can just take over his whole house. And another leather armor piece for me. On day 4, I made a huge mess, adding all of my resources in the beekeeper's house. And now we have this beautiful bee area to work with. I definitely want to build my own bee base later, but for now, this is a safe space to come back to. And we can go into the dangerous places, aka the caves. Because I need at least a full set of iron armor if I want to enter the beehives and go into the Bumblezone. I have a feeling it's super dangerous there. I also have a feeling it's super dangerous down there, which is the perfect place to find iron, so let's just go down there. After making a staircase down to the cave, I set my spawn in case there are incidents. And now it's time to go caving and get all of the resources and not die to this guy. Oh, poor little Skelly is on fire. Get wrecked. First monster killed. Hi, Skellies. Die, Skellies. I'm gonna die. If I'm not strong enough to fight the regular Minecraft caves, I'm definitely not strong enough to fight the Bumblezone. So let's mine all of the iron we can find, which apparently won't be a lot because my stone pickaxe is almost broken and I didn't bring a crafting table from Minecraft. So let's run back home and we can smelt all the iron we have so far. And now we can craft a new iron pickaxe and definitely an iron sword. And I also want to see if I have enough for a full set of iron armor. Bye bye leather armor. Hello iron armor. Now we're so much stronger. And we also still have enough for a little shield. Now that we have better gear, we don't even have to go mining for iron anymore. But I still have to go into the cave because there's one thing I need to enter the Bumblezone. And that's either an ender pearl or a piston. So we could go and slay some endermen, and if that goes wrong, we can just find some redstone so we can craft a piston. And there's an enderman over there, so let's just mine into the wall. And then we can take a little peek at his face. Hi! And he's coming over. Hi, Angerman. Ender pearl, yay. That was a big success, but I think I still want to find some redstone though, because ender pearls are just a one-time use and a piston could be used over and over. So let's set my spawn again and let's go down deeper into the scary caves. Not that I'm scared, of course. I'm so scared, I'm so scared, I'm so scared. Diamonds! I don't see a single piece of redstone. Why is this so mean? I just need to make a little staircase so I can easily go back up. Diamonds! Creeper! Hi, creeper and many zombies that want to kill me. Oh my gosh, that scared me so bad. You know what? I'm just gonna jump down the other side and run away. No! Next to my diamonds and my redstone. So many skellies. Oh yeah, fight each other. Losers. Grab the redstone, grab the redstone. Let's quickly take care of these monsters. Die. And then we can try and grab these diamonds. Diamonds on day 5. Zombie, no. Zombie, go. 6 diamonds. Let's go. And there's some here. Let's scaffold up and let's take them off the wall. It was just one. Oh, there's another. Diamonds. Oh, there's a water cave on the other side. I wish I had brought my door because water caving is so cool on deep slate level. And I would just need to get out of here again without those creatures seeing me. There are so many more diamonds over there, but these guys are also here. And I think for now we're good on resources. I survived the caves. Let's put our diamonds away for now because I don't want to lose them in the Bumblezone. And I'm also going to cook a lot more food. But now I think we're ready for the Bumblezone. And we can use the ender pearl or the piston to enter either a beehive or a bee nest. Let's do it. Teleporting into the Bumblezone. Oh gosh, oh gosh, oh gosh. Hello, where am I? There's no exit. Now we've got a bunch of new advancements to unlock. And it's also telling me how to exit it. You can either go into the ceiling or into the ground and you won't die and then you can leave. I'm just like in the walls of the beehive and I don't know where to go, where anything is. But I do have a world map, so when we open it, whoa, hello. And this place here looks peaceful, so let's just mine over there. So we just mine in this direction. Oh, I already mined out of the wall. Let's just jump into the water. Oh my gosh, this world is so weird. Why is there a balloon? Hello? And there are a bunch of bees flying around. The sky is actually honey-colored because I guess there isn't really a sky here. It's just fog because we're inside of a beehive. So maybe we're actually tiny now, or the beehive is super big on the inside. And it looks like there are also some bee structures. I think that's where bees grow up because look, there's a tiny one in there, like a bee baby. A baby. I just saw this underwater. Can I mine this? It's a honey crystal shard. And there are flowers here and candles. This biome here is called Floral Meadows. And it seems really peaceful. And there's also the structure here. Hello? Wait, why am I flying up? Wait, that is so cool. And why did I get this flower? Wait, you can wear it. It's a flower headwear. I am a flower. So maybe when I wear this, the bees won't get mad if I do anything that I shouldn't do. Yay! Why is it coming at me? Wait, it has a name. The shy bee. Robert the baby bee. I think they all like me because of the flower. What if I take it off? No, they don't care anymore. That is actually so cool. I'm gonna keep that. What? What is that? Hello? That was a thing! That was a thing that came out of the grass! They're shooting dirt? Whatever it was, it doesn't do a lot of damage, but I still have to be on high alert because I don't want to get jump scared. It got me again. Wait, it's like a grass block. I'm gonna kill him. You stupid thing! You loser! How dare you punch me? Oh, it's dead. Oh my gosh, there are so many. Ow! I'm just gonna go dig into the wall. Ugh, there is something in the wall. I'm just gonna hide inside here and check out the map and see what else there is. Because this beehive has a bunch of different structures and some could contain really good loot, but some could also contain some enemies. I kind of want to go there. This looks cool. Ah! It's here! What? Oh my gosh. No, stupid. No, it's another one. I knew it. Go away. I think I'm gonna try to get some wood without them punching me. Ow. I hate them. I hate them! I'm blocking the walls. And then we can craft a boat because there are a bunch of these water streams and I don't want to swim through them. Is that actually a slime? Hello? I think that's a honey slime. Is it evil? Wait, they just dropped normal slime balls? That's so funny. After messing around with the honey slimes, I kept going and tried to look for some weird structures I saw on the map. And I found a cute little building on the side of the wall. This doesn't look super evil, so let's try and get into it. Let's just scaffold up again. Hello, bee room. Yay! What are these candles? Can I take them? A potion candle. The effect is poison. Wait, so when I light these, they're gonna poison me. And this one is regeneration. Okay, I want this one. And there are these crystals in here. And also this one, a crystal cannon. Can I shoot the crystals? Yes, I can. That's so cool, so the crystals have an actual use. I went back to the flower forest and I found this thing that I saw on the map. And I think it's like a bee party room. And there's actually a music disc in here, so we could actually party. So I tried out a bunch of party moves on the dance floor. But I also saw these doors, so maybe there's some loot behind. Dinner boat. That's an upside down bee. There are just bees locked in the closet. And it looks like they love fashion. There's a bunch of dyed leather armor in there. I think I'm just gonna leave them be. Oh, and these guys are back. Let me try my crystal cannon. Yes! I got them. And there are more. No, stop. I think this was a good first taste of the Bumblezone, but I definitely wasn't super prepared. Ow! So let's go home and take a couple of these honey blocks with us. We just have to dig to the bottom of the beehive and then break out of it. I dug all this way and now I hit this block. I think this is the exit block. Come on, let me leave. Yeah, this is the wall of the beehive. I just bumbled out of the Bumblezone and of course it's raining. Why is it always raining? We brought a bunch of cool loot from the Bumblezone, especially the crystal cannon and also these candles. Let's craft a flint and steel and let's see if it works. Yes, we get regeneration. It's like a beacon, but it's a candle. I also got the poison one and I want to try it out too, but I'm gonna go far away from my area because I don't want to kill my moo blooms or my bees. Let's do it here. Poison. No, it's actually poison. I mean, I should have seen that coming. So this one can stay in the chest, but now I actually need to start working on my base because I don't just want to exist in the Bumblezone and loot everything there. I also want to become a beekeeper and have a beautiful base in the overworld. And the most important thing I need is a good food source, and I don't want to eat my moo blooms. So we gotta clear out some more space and I make some animal pens. And I have a mod that gives more stairs and slab options and also walls. So I'm wondering if we could make some stripped oak walls. And I think that looks super cool. And on day 9 I had made 2 of these animal pens. And I'm just gonna move all of the nearby cows into one of the pens. And then we can breed them for food. I'm so horrible. And I also just spotted some sheep in the field. So those can go into the second pen for a nice wool source. Now we just need a good food source for our farm animals. So we gotta make a little crop field. We just gotta clear out a bunch of these trees. And then this entire area here can become farmland. On day 11 I had a bunch of farmland, but only 4 seeds to plant. So I went over to the nearby plains biome, not to touch grass, but to punch it instead. And I mean, while I'm here, I might as well slay some farm animals to get more food. And I've got over a stack of seeds, which we can plant all over this field. And it still wasn't enough to even fill half of the field. But once the crops grow, we can add some more, and then it's gonna look really cool. And I also want to make a path going from the beekeeper's hut down to the crop field and to the sugarcane. And I just discovered with the more stairs and slab mod, there are dirt slabs. So we can actually just add them here. And I think we can also turn them into path blocks. And I think this is looking really cool. And now that we've done some work in our base, I think I want to prepare to go into the Bumblezone again. So let's first make a diamond pickaxe. And I'm gonna go back down to my scary cave. And I think I'm just gonna do some branch mining because I'm gonna need a bunch of scaffolding blocks when I go back into the Bumblezone. Because that place is full of walls. So it's the perfect place for me because I like being in people's walls. And I just dug right into a mine shaft, so let's go and check it out. I still need to get a bunch of iron, so finding that will be perfect. I'm scared. And there's some iron, and even more iron. And I see a chest. Golden apple, that's always a good thing. And a bunch of other random stuff. Oh gosh, no, cave spider. Ew, I'm stuck. No, I hate cave spiders. And after rediscovering my fear of mine shafts, I ran out of the caves again. And I found 37 more iron, so we can smelt that down. And while that is melting, we can collect some sand, and we can smelt that too, because the Bumblezone has a bunch of honey related things we can collect, and I think for that we definitely need glass bottles and shears, which we already have. I also made myself a set of iron gear, and now there's just one more thing that we need, a saddle, because in the Bumblezone there's actually a giant bee and we can tame it and ride it, and for that we need a saddle, which I think is gonna be pretty hard to find, so let's go and look for some more villages. And I immediately found one across the hill. After looking through the entire village, I still didn't find a saddle, so I stole all of their hay bales out of spite. Teehee. And then I realized Minecraft recently added craftable saddles. I totally knew that. Basically, all you need is leather and iron and boom, a saddle. Pro Minecraft. But hey, at least we have a bunch of food for my cows now. But now it's time to go back to the Bumblezone and find our bee friend. And since I'm out of ender pearls, we gotta make a piston. And now we just add the piston here and the lever below it. And I think now we just press it. Yes, I'm back. And I ended up at the exact same place, so I already know where I am. Also, there are these honey slimes again, and I want to see if my glass bottles work on them. Yes, I took their honey. Ow! Wait, it's a normal slime, but still a little bit honey covered. I just took water from this and it's sugar water and I can drink it. Sugar rush. I'm gonna sugar rush kill this guy. Get wrecked. Wait, sugar rush gives me haste. Okay, that is so good to know. There's a cave spider. Good bees. Kill him, kill him. I also just found this crystallized honey. Yay! It drops more of these honey crystal shards, which we're gonna need because there are spiders and we gotta kill them. I just found this room full of bees. What? No, bee, please, no, please, bee, I'm your friend. Bee, I'm your friend. Bee, I'm your friend. Oh my gosh, no, guys. Oh my gosh, I will die. Go underwater, go underwater. Oh no, I'm gonna drown. Guys, I will die. That went really well. Why did I not set my spawn? And after I ran back to my base, it was time to go straight back into the Bumblezone. At least the bees aren't angry anymore and I can hopefully recover my stuff. Wait, it was right there. Oh no. No! Wait, yes! Yes! This was literally so terrifying. And I'm never gonna mine honey blocks again because that's what caused it. So I continued exploring and swam up this giant waterfall to see what's on the other side of the wall. And I found an actual pirate ship on the other side. Let's just jump down. Yay! Please don't die. And how about we just wear this flower head because the bees love me then. So maybe they won't kill me when I try and rob their ship. Hi bees. Hello. Ooh. There's a honey bucket and gold. And this guy's called Captain Blackbeard. More like Captain Blackbeard. Ooh. Blocks of gold. Those are loot barrels. I love that. It's a honey cocoon. Wait, can we actually take those? Yay, I can pick them up and take them home. And there's more stuff down here. Oh, look at this bee. It's a rainbow bee. That's so cute. Look, they all have different textures. And what's this? A bee stinger. More bee stingers. And bee bread. There's bee soup. Did they seriously cook a bee into a soup? Whoa. Hello? We got a honey compass that leads to a mystery structure. We got 2 of those. My inventory is basically full too, and I just saw another big structure. What the heck? Let's eat the bee soup. Bee energized. Maybe that is a good thing, and now we have a little bit more inventory space. Wait, can you set your spawn? Why can I sleep here? That's so random, but my spawn is set now, and I'm gonna leave my super valuable stuff here in this cocoon, and then we can go and check out this thing. It's a honey tail, like a hotel for honeybees. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. This place just keeps going up, and there isn't a ladder, so we just have to go scaffold, and maybe there's a loot chest up here. I mean, there's this creepy wall, and I can see some loot behind it. I cannot figure out how to break this block. This is so weird, so I'm just gonna mine around it. Let's see what we have here. More honey buckets. Is that a shield? A honey crystal shield. This is cool. And we got more of these cocoons and more bee stinger and a recovery compass. No way. No actual way. And what it does is when you die, it tells you where your stuff is. So that is perfect because I keep dying. Also a buzzing briefcase. I can open it. Wait, can I put things in there? I need to find out later, but first we gotta keep looting because there's also stuff in the ceiling. A pollen puff. Okay, that is cute. I threw it and now it's on the ground. And I found another of those rooms right across from the first one, and there's more loot in here, which was mostly a bunch of food. Then I scaffolded up higher because there were 2 more of those rooms where I found some more honey stuff and banner patterns, but most importantly a music disc and another compass. And the last floor had something really cool, a name tag, which I could use to name my bee friend once I find them. I just fully ruined the carpet in their hotel. I'm so sorry. Let's just run away. Bye! I think before I can find my bee friend, I actually need to go back home and put all of those resources away. Goodbye, Bumblezone. I will be back. And those little cocoons are actually so cool. I want to use them as storage. I also want to find out if I can use the buzzing briefcase to pick up bees. Yes, the bee is in there. And I can release it again. Be free. That means I can also pick up cool bees from the Bumblezone and take them home with me. And I just saw the bee stinger can be used to create a stinger spear. And we did get a bunch of bee stingers, so we can make one of these. We got the spear before the Minecraft update came out. Oh my gosh, we can throw it. And on day 18, I went right back into the Bumblezone. Let's go past has the honey tail. And let's see what other places we can find. Whoa, it's here. Wait, it's here. There's an Enderman, but that's the bee guy. That's the bee guy. Please don't kill me, bee guy. Hi. Wait, do I need to tame it? I didn't bring anything except this bee bread. Take the bee bread. Yes! Oh my gosh, I tamed it straight away! Yes! I have the bee! We're just flying a giant bee, which means exploring this place is gonna be so much easier because we can just easily go anywhere we want. And the first thing we found was this pollen-covered area. And I also discovered my bee has a friendship level, and it was at 6, now it's at 36. So riding it actually increases it. We can also feed it to increase the friendship, even though it just went down, but now it's going up again. Eat all of this bee bread. And I think it now flies a little bit faster. And I also have protection of the hive. So does that mean no angry bees? I gladly take that. Especially because I just found a weird structure. It's just floating platforms everywhere. This actually looks so creepy, but there's loot! Bee, stay here. Bee, don't leave me. Ow! Hello? I have protection of the hive. Does that mean they're protecting me? Please kill them all while I loot this. There's a luminescent wax node. That was the worst loot ever. This passageway looks so creepy, like I'm on an alien planet. I just found a helicopter. And there's a bee in there. That's so cute. I'm gonna steal all of your stuff. Ooh, thank you for all those compasses. This entire area looks so cool with those glowing crystals on the ceiling and then these creepy things hanging down below. Now let's go to the hanging city of doom. I will die. This actually looks so evil. Hello? Wait, I thought that was a warrior. I think that's an armor stand. Wait, is that bee armor? A stingless bee helmet? I have a bee hat. Oh my gosh. Advancement. The bee warrior rises. Equip yourself with the greatest weapon and armor that the bees have to offer. Also, there are diamonds. And it doesn't seem to be a super evil structure. So let's go and take some diamonds. I hate my life. Can't believe this just happened. I should have just gone home. Recovery compass for the win. Now I have to walk to my stuff, and it's probably all exploded. I'm literally so angry. Imagine my bee is dead now. And my stuff. I had cool bee armor. Please, did anything survive? Where's my bee? I'm just gonna go into free cam. I'm still down here. I'm just gonna go look where my bee is. Where was the place that exploded? Oh, right here. And my bee is still up there. We're gonna go back up there, and we're gonna save our bee. My bee is a literal tank for surviving that. Please don't be mad at me. I'm so sorry. This is all my fault. Half of its health is down. All of my stuff is just gone. Stupid diamond, I didn't want you anyway. I hate diamonds now. And that's the thing that blew me up. That's like a TNT bee thing. Evil. I want to get out of here, and I think I'm just gonna use my bee to fly up into the ceiling and then just dig out this way. And hopefully my bee is gonna come with me. Aw, this is gonna take ages. 10 years later. We're almost out. I can see the sky already. And now let's hope my bee can come through with me. Don't die, bee. Please don't die. Yes, I have my bee. And of course it is raining again. I need to quickly heal my bee. Maybe I can give it a honey bucket. Yay, it's healed. And the sun came out at the same time. Wait, that's so beautiful. Now you have to stay here, and I'm gonna go cry in my house. I hate TNT. And after being super upset about the loss of my stuff, I crafted some new things from the stuff I still had left in my barrels. Full set of iron armor again. And I still have a bunch of bee stuff at home, but I'm still very shaken up from that TNT jump scare. So first I'm gonna do some really peaceful farming, and then I can breed all of my animals. And I also want to start trading with the Beekeeper villager because they could have some good loot. Maybe some things that we lost in the Bumblezone. And looking for buttercups is a very peaceful task, so I don't have to worry about exploding to TNT. And we can also fly around with our bees so we can spot them from the sky. Now I've got a stack of buttercups, but I also noticed the moo blooms have a bunch of flowers in their pen, and it's only the flowers that grows on them, so only the yellow ones. And I think the way moo blooms work is that they're actually gonna regrow the flowers on the ground. So maybe we're gonna get an infinite buttercup source. And that was the time where our villager chose to be unemployed. Are you kidding me? Get out, villager. Oh, and now he took the job again. And now he trades something else. Are you kidding me? And I cannot mine those bee nests because the bees would get mad. I'm just gonna put him in a boat and move him far away until he loses his job again. So now we can just craft our own beehive. And now we can do the villager trading far away from any angry bees. Let's lock that trade. That wasn't so hard, was it, villager? And now he actually offers some stuff from the Bumblezone, like this sticky honey residue. That's the one that blew me up, and it gives me slowness. And the next trade unlocked honey blocks or bee bread for emeralds. We can get some pretty good trades from this guy, so let's move him back to my base. I mean, it was his base to begin with, but I just took it over. Teehee. And to make things like bee bread, we actually need more honey buckets, and you can just make them with honey bottles. So good that we actually have a bee farm out here. I just need to mine a little bit more coal, which we can use to craft campfires, and then we just put those under the bee nest, but now we cannot put the scaffolding on top anymore. So I'm just gonna add a little stripped oak wall, and I think the smoke can still go through it. Let's test it. I didn't anger the bees. So now we can harvest honey honey from all of the hives. Now we can make a honey bucket and we can craft more bee bread. And that actually gives us so many emeralds. And it's true, the moo blooms actually grow flowers where they walk, which is actually so cute. On day 24, I chopped down some more trees to clear out a bigger area because I want to expand my moo bloom pen. Then I started building the enclosure using some fences, and then the moo blooms could already move into their new home. And now they can grow flowers all over the place. On day 25, I learned you can unpollinate a bee by clicking on it with water, and then it drops pollen puff, which I need to craft the bee bread to trade with the villager. And I also did some more trading and unlocked the last trades. Now he's a beekeeper master and he trades all of these things. So we have a super easy emerald source, and we can also buy all of the honey stuff from that guy. And I think I'm gonna buy some bee bread from him and then feed all of it to my bee, because look, the friendship level is going up so fast. Oh my gosh, this is so good. And now this bee is way faster. Look at this. And that is perfect because we actually have somewhere to be. I finally want to build a house on my base, and one important build resource that I need for that is spruce wood. So I'm gonna go on a journey to find it. The first thing we found on our journey was another village, but of course they didn't have anything valuable. But I stole their lectern and all of their bookshelves. Teehee. Then we kept traveling until I finally saw one singular spruce tree in the distance. There are literally only 3 in total here, so hopefully we can get 4 saplings. And good that I crafted a diamond axe, so now this is gonna go really fast. On day 26, I had 5 saplings, so we can go back home right after I loot this pillager outpost, because it's just too easy flying in. It's not too easy. It's not too easy. I'm just dumb. Let's pretend that didn't happen and there's not an arrow in my shoulder. And let's loot all of this. Wait, hello? What is that? Go away, pillagers. That was super random and terrifying. Let's free these allays. Maybe those allays are gonna follow me home, or maybe they're just gonna get lost. And after a cozy journey through the sky, I finally made it back home. And the allays actually followed me all this way here. And my bee is level 300 already, so it's even faster now. On day 27, I set up a tall spruce tree growing area on the other side of the lake, so I wouldn't get any of the puzzles spreading inside my base. And then I lured my allays into the house and locked them in there, because I want to go back to the caves and they cannot come with me or they would die. But I'm not scared because I already made a passage down to deep slate level. I did find a water cave last time, so I just want to go in there. So let's just swim inside of this, and now we're safe from all of the monsters, but we're not safe from drowning, so I brought my doors. Water caving for the win. I picked up all of the resources I could find in the water cave, and I actually did manage to find a lot of diamonds, which healed my Bumblezone pain from losing all of my stuff because I wanted to mine 1 diamond. And I also found one of the rarest ores in the game, deep slate coal ore. On day 28, I had over a stack of iron and 8 diamonds, so I call that a successful caving trip. There's lava. And now with the diamonds we already have, we can make a new diamond pickaxe because the first one was exploded, and also a diamond shovel. And I'm gonna put the rest away for now. I also just realized the beekeeper let the allays escape, and now they're gone forever. But on day 29, I finally started gathering resources for my starter house, and the first thing I had to get was of course spruce wood. And then also need some oak wood so we can just chop down all of the trees in this area, since I want to use this space for building anyway. And since this place was full of holes, I also started terraforming the area, but was rudely interrupted by a bunch of pillagers. Get wrecked, get wrecked, get wrecked. I slayed. And on day 30, I continued my terraforming and created a nice flat area for my house. Now I just need to craft some more build materials out of my wood, like stairs and trapdoors. And I think I need to chop some more spruce wood because I definitely don't have enough yet. But on day 31, I finally had enough resources, so now we can start building. We can start adding some oak wood pillars that transition into stripped spruce wood. And of course, it started to rain right when I started to build. And there's a beehive exactly where I want to build a pillar, but I cannot remove it or the bees would get super angry, so I just have to build on top of it. Pro building right there. And on day 32, I continued building the house and added some oak walls in between my pillars. And I also started working on a nice roof shape. It's looking good so far, but it's still a very empty shell, so let's add some decor, starting with the entrance. We could add a little overhang using stripped oak walls, and then slabs and trapdoors on top. Now that looks much better. And we can decorate the window on the side too, ignore the bee. But instead of using fences, we can use the thick pillars, and I think they look so cool. He likes them too. He's a pillar guy for sure. He's creepy. I also actually want to put windows into my house and not just have empty gaps, so I'm just gonna quickly fly my bee over to a random sand patch, and then we can gather lots more sand. And while it smelts, I can collect more food, aka slaughter a bunch of animals. And then we can craft some white stained glass panes. And of course it started raining again, and we can add in all of the windows. Now we just need to put a roof on this house, and I want it to be bee related, so of course we need to use honeycomb. And thanks to my stairs and slab mod, we can also make honeycomb stairs and honeycomb slabs. But I definitely don't have enough honeycomb for such a big roof, so I need to face my fears and go back into the Bumblezone. But I can just be nice and safe in here and just mine out all of the walls, and hopefully none of the bees are gonna see me and kill me. And I decided to actually do something useful at the same time and mine down all the way to the bottom of the honeycomb, so I have an exit right next to my spawn in case I accidentally go into the Bumblezone without a pickaxe or something, because that would totally happen to me. And And it actually took ages to mine down all the way to the bottom, but now I finally reached it, so bye-bye Bumblezone. And of course it's nighttime. I'm scared. Now we've got all of this honeycomb, so we can definitely put a really nice roof on this. But I actually want to build something else on the roof too. I want to build a giant bee statue of this guy, because I almost exploded him because of my diamond greed. So he deserves a statue. He also deserves a name, so while I fly to get some more resources for my bee statue, I'm gonna think of a cool one. And our first stop is the jungle, but I'm looking for a bamboo forest. And it looks like there's a bunch of it on this island here. This is actually such a cool base location. If you ever want to see 100 days in the jungle, let me know in the comments. Let's quickly go through all of this. And now we've got all of this bamboo, so we can keep traveling because we need to find a dark oak forest next. And on day 35, I found the tiniest dark oak forest in the world. It literally only has a few trees. I've got a bunch of wood and my saplings, and our last stop is the ocean. Simply because I need to slay some squids for black dye so I can get some black wool for my sheep. And I also thought of a really funny name for my bee, Buzz Lightyear. Let me know if you get the reference. Now I just need to dye my sheep black and yellow, and then we just have to shear them. I also need to make some custom banners, and we can do that on the loom and make some bee eyes. That's so creepy. And now it's finally time to finish the roof of my house, and I fell off my roof so many times while building this, and Buzz was such a great help, which is perfect since we're building a giant statue of him on top of my roof. And now my house is looking way cooler, but also kind of cursed, especially because I gave the bee statue a backside with a little stinger. I also added these weird porous honeycomb blocks as texture, and I think you can actually fill them with honey and then they look much better. I'm literally wasting my precious honey on my roof, but I think my roof is looking way better now. Now we just need to decorate the entrance way more, starting with a nice path block path. And I also want to try something cool, so let's get some leaves. And we can actually craft leaf walls, which we can add like a little hedge around the front of my base. Now one last thing we need in front of my base is a bunch of flowers. And it's raining again. Let's first break a couple blocks and then add some coarse dirt, and then we can add flowers on top of it. But I actually have a mod pack called Bushier Flowers, so when you bone meal a flower, it becomes like a little cluster of the same flower, and it's really cute. The problem is, that was my last bone meal. So good that all of my crops have grown, so now we can harvest all of them, because we can put all of the seeds we have into the composter, and then we can easily make some more bone meal. And on day 40, I used my bone meal to create a really beautiful flower field, and I also added some more flowers and flower pots in the windows of my house. I also want to add some beehives inside of this field, and we can actually craft the normal nests out of these hive blocks, and hopefully some bees are gonna move into them. But now I actually need to move into my house, so let's first add a nice spruce floor, and then we can also work on a ceiling. Let's also add some lanterns so the mobs don't spawn, and I think I really like how the ceiling turned out. Now we just have to add a new storage area using chests and barrels, and then we just have to move all of our messy resources over to our new house. And now everything is sorted and labeled, so no more storage mess. I also rediscovered that I found these cool banner patterns in the Bumblezone, so I kind of want to try them on my loom. Oh my gosh, this one looks so funny, and this one looks really cool. So now we can have some banners on the wall, and I definitely want to go back to the Bumblezone and try and get the resources back that I lost, especially the bee armor, but I'm at 25 levels and I don't want to die with all of that. So before I go back there, I actually want to do some enchanting. So first we gotta find some lava, buy lava, and then we combine all of this obsidian. Now we can craft the enchanting table, and we just need a lot more books to make the bookshelves. So good that I've been harvesting lots of sugarcane and leather, and I think I'm just gonna set up the enchanting table in my house, so let's add the bookshelves all around it. Now I just need to get to 30 levels, so I'm just gonna trade with a villager, and I think I also want to get silk touch, but I don't trust the enchanting table to just give me that. So I want to get a librarian villager, so let's make a lead, and then we can quickly fly over to the village on the hill, and then we can just steal one of the villagers and put them in a boat on a lead. And I want to see if I can fly with a villager while on the bee. Yes! Oh, this is so cursed. Now that is perfect villager transport, and we can just carefully drop him inside of my house. Wait, is my bee in the boat now? How did my big bee get into this small boat? Be free. And I'm just gonna box him in while I force him to make a silk touch trade. This is gonna take a while. On day 44, I was still cycling through villager trades until I finally got silk touch. Good that I got tons of emeralds from my beekeeper, so now we can just buy one. And this guy can stay in his little dirt prison in my base. I did some more trading with the librarian and the beekeeper, and also locked the beekeeper into his own house, and he's not happy about that. But I actually discovered an infinite emerald glitch, because we can buy 3 bee bread for 5 emeralds, and we can sell those 3 for 18 emeralds. So we're literally getting emerald rich, which means we're gonna get to level 30 a lot faster. And we just need a couple more, and now we're there. Level 30. Now let's try and get a good enchant on my pickaxe. Efficiency, it's just efficiency. I'm so glad I got that silk touch villager. And then I moved another beekeeper from the village down to my base, because there's such a great emerald source, and I need to get 30 levels again. And I'm literally just gonna drop him through the roof. Now I just need to make another beehive, and I just just learned you can make dark oak beehives. So there are beehives in all of the wood types, and I hope they're gonna like it as their workstation. Yes, let's go. So now we can get Emerald Ridge twice as fast. And on day 46 I was at 31 levels, and I maxed out my second Beekeeper, and they sell honeycomb brood blocks, which I think is basically an infinite bee source. And I don't really know where to add this, so let's just put it here. And the bee is up there now. Look, there's a little baby bee growing up. Maybe we can feed it. Yes! Oh my gosh, wait! No way! And then a bee comes out! And now a new bee is growing in there. And now we can try to enchant our axe, unbreaking, and fortune, yeah. And let's grind to level 30 again. And let's see what we can get on the shovel. Efficiency! Let's also craft an anvil, because then I can put silk touch on my pickaxe. And then we can finally get rid of this bee nest on my house. Now it looks much better. And I also still have that name tag that I found in the honey tell. So we can actually name our bee. So now it's called Buzz Lightyear. And the friendship level is almost at 500, so we can just speed it up to there. And now it flies even faster, which is perfect because I want to go back to the Bumblezone and find my bee armor again and not die to TNT. And I also don't want to lose all of my precious stuff, so I'm just gonna take the Silk Touch pickaxe, and I want to try and push myself and Buzz into the Bumblezone at the same time. Let's do it. Yay, we're both here! And we have protection of the hive because I fed Buzz, so we don't have to worry about any bee attacks. And thanks to Buzz flying so fast, hopefully we can find structures really soon. The first thing we found was a little helicopter, which had some more bee bread and some more compasses inside. Then we found this really cute honey fountain, so of course I want to check it out, but not before setting my spawn. And I saw a bunch of ore on the ground, and I think that's iron ore. Yay, block of raw iron and block of raw gold. Wait, I can go inside of the fountain. And there's a cute flower in the middle. Can I take it? It's a crystalline flower, but that doesn't seem to be anything valuable, so let's keep going. Oh my gosh, I just found this giant beehive inside of the beehive, and there's this weird biome again. It doesn't seem to have these hanging things, but it has this weird house down there. I mean, all of this seems super deadly, especially this bee house. On the map, it's actually called Bumbling Bee Apartments. I mean, that kind of sounds lovely, right? So let's go and land down here. Oh, that was so scary. Beeography. Set my spawn, set my spawn. I found all the biomes in the Bumblezone. That is so cool. Also, I don't want to die. Let's go in here. Cute. Everything is full of flowers here. They have a little flower growing room and some loot. I'm gonna take those cocoons again. I got an advancement for taking it with Silk Touch. Also, look, I got so many advancements in the Bumblezone already. What is even going on? Basically, what I found out is you can put stuff in there, and then you can mine it with Silk Touch, and the stuff stays inside, and it's basically a shulker box. The bee apartments don't seem super dangerous though, so we can just peacefully loot all of it. Look at this room. They have little bee beds all over the place, and the bees are actually born out of these, so they're born into this bed. That is so funny and also creepy. I didn't really find anything else super valuable in the bee apartments, so I kept going. And we can go right to the next structure. There's a phantom. I know what I'm gonna do against those. Set our spawn. Ah, it's coming for me already. And then I need my bee bread and quickly feed my bee, and then get protection of the hive. Hi, phantom. Yes, good bees. Let's go. Now let's see who lives in this house. This looks like a trap. Okay, I don't think there's actually anything there. I'm just super paranoid. Oh, so the villagers don't get out. Now I get it. Hi, Mr. Villager. I'm gonna steal from you. You don't have anything valuable. I'm not gonna steal from you. Oh, I thought it was bee armor. It gave me hope for a second, but it's just leather armor. But this is such a funny little house in the middle of nowhere, and this guy wants to kill me. And I just found another structure straight away. It's just this tiny little one, and I think those are more crystal cannons. Wait, those are bee cannons. So let's take those and let's keep searching. I want my bee armor. I also got a bunch of these compasses, so maybe I could use one to locate a new structure, because I have absolutely no idea where I'm going. Oh, I found a structure, even though the compass didn't even show me that. It's 100% trapped. I know it. Okay, it doesn't seem to be trapped, but there are some sponges here, which I'm gonna steal because you never know when you might need those. And I also have these rare sniffer flowers, the pitcher plant. I have all of these cocoons, so I don't need to save on inventory space, which means I can also steal the big candles. I don't think this place has any loot though. Ugh, there's a cave spider. I'm leaving. Wait, there is a big bee building. Oh my gosh, we're in this pollen puff. The particles. Hi, bees. Yay, there's loot. And we have more bee bread. That was cute. Now let's keep going. I also have so much bee bread. What if I feed all of it to Buzz? I don't think we can get him to 1000, but 800 is so good. Oh my gosh, yes, he is fast. And I found another scary looking structure. It has loot though, and I bet it has TNT. I'm gonna set my spawn. Wait, I think this is a parkour course. This is definitely some sort of flying course. I just want the loot though. Yes, bee armor. Bee armor. We're back in business. It's just one piece though, so we gotta find some more. And even though I was super paranoid that I would lose my bee armor to a trap just like last time, I kept going and looted all of the cocoons. I got 6 diamonds from this and 3 name tags and another saddle. But now we can keep going because I have more bee armor to find. I want the whole set. Then I found this really adorable candle parkour, and I wasn't too scared to try that. And I also discovered my bee armor gives me a weird flying effect. Look at this. I can fly up. Ow. Easiest parkour ever. And the loot is another chest plate. Are you kidding me? I already have it. Wait, there's more loot. Imagine I die to this parkour. Whee. No, let's see what I can do with Potion of Leaping combined with my bee armor. Let's go. Not again. Why do I keep doing this? And loot chest. And there's nothing else in there. Whee. No. I set my spawn. This is exactly why I set my spawn. Why am I so stupid? I thought I could make it to the water. That was so embarrassing. Pro Minecraft. Now let's keep going before we die to fall damage again. Well. They better be having bee armor. Oh, it's so creepy. Why is it so creepy every single time? All of this is so trapped. There's even a bee trapped. Yes. Double bee armor. Bee armor. We did it. Well, not yet. First, I actually need to get the bee armor without exploding to TNT. I'm so scared. I flew into the ceiling and I see dispensers. Down. Okay, so there's a trap down there. I'm not going there. How about I just make my own little platform and I'm gonna set my spawn and then we can scaffold over to the bee armor. Is there a trap? No trap. We're fine. Bee armor. We're so back in business. And this bee armor can actually locate bees. When I shift click, they all start glowing. But I don't want to lose all of my bee armor straight away, so I'm just gonna put it in a chest because I need to go to the next bee armor and I could die on my way. Give me the bee armor. This one is a different kind of chest plate and the helmet is also a different kind of helmet. It covers my entire face, so now I am a bee. And this bee doesn't want to be here anymore, so it's time we get out of here. Come on, Buzz. Let's leave. We just need to go up and dig into the ceiling. It's about time we get out of here. We're back home. I'm a bee on a bee. I actually played it so safe and I survived. We don't talk about the candle parkour incident. On day 50, I decided on a set of bee armor to wear, which I think looks really cool. And I put the other one on this armor stand. And I found some fun loot like this bee cannon and I kind of want to try it out. Can I take the bee? I have the bee. Now fight bee. I think it's alive. Let's do it again. Wee! Also, I just got pollen on my pants. Let's go in the water. Yay, it comes off! Bathing time. Wait, so now I'm actually a bee? I can harvest pollen from the flowers and then wash them off to get pollen puff. I have my own bee farm. And I also picked up these big candles, so I'm gonna add them to my enchanting table. So we have a little magic area. I still haven't recovered everything I lost to the TNT, like the bumbling briefcase that can store bees. So more Bumblezone visits are in our future. But first I want to do a lot more work on my base because right now it's just a mess. So we gotta terraform it, which means I need way better tools. So the grind to get XP began once more. But I think having only 2 beekeeper villagers is a little bit too slow. So we can just take some more guys from this village because it's just so easy to transport them. And on day 52 I did a huge amount of trading with my new beekeeper villagers. And thanks to the bee bread emerald hack, I got to level 36 already. First I crafted some more diamond tools and then tried to get some better enchants on them. I got unbreaking on the axe, but the other ones are kinda meh. So I disenchanted them and got more XP on day 53. And now let's try again. Unbreaking and efficiency. And I'm breaking on the pickaxe too. So now we can combine those for a really OP pickaxe. And same with the axe. And the shovel too. And with my new OP tools, I can start working on my base. And the first thing I did was chop down all of the trees in the area to get a better overview of the land. And I discovered something really funny with the bee armor. I can just fly up and then just reach the logs that are too high up. But I can also stick to blocks on the side. Look, I'm just on there slowly sliding down. And look, I actually have little wings. I didn't even notice that before. Look at this. Now this area is free of trees, but it uncovered a bunch of holes and little caves. And this time I get to use my efficiency shovel to dig out all of the land and terraform everything and of course cover up all of those holes. Now everything is nice and flat, leaving enough space for a bunch of builds. And I think the first build has to be for my moo blooms because they're just in this tiny pen. So it's time we give them another upgrade. We already got tons of oak wood from chopping all of the trees. And we still have some spruce too, so let's craft it up into a bunch of materials. And of course we also need more honeycomb. And now we've got all of the resources and I put most of them in this cocoon so I can use it like a choco box. And now we can start building our little moo bloom stable with walls out of oak wood, just like my starter house. It's so funny when you jump up and the bee armor just makes you fly. And something even weirder happens when I shift click, this block just gets mined. Why do my bee boots mine blocks? That is so weird. It doesn't happen on grass, but apparently wood is free real estate. Now we've got the walls in place except the front because that's gonna be an open stable entrance, but we can decorate it and add those stripped spruce pillars. And then we just need to add the roof on top, which is of course also gonna be made out of spruce wood. And I need to be careful to not look down too much when I stand on this because otherwise it's just gonna get mined. And on day 58 I filled in the roof with more honeycomb blocks, which surprisingly isn't one of the blocks that the bee boots can mine. And now the house is looking really cool already, and I also added some flowers in those little windows, but it's still looking kinda empty, so I want to attach some more things to the side. Maybe on this side a little overhang, and it could have a little flower bed on top of it. And under it we could store some big pots and small ones. So now we've got a really cute little area. And on this side here we could have a really tiny little building, and we can store even more of those pots inside. And let's add more yellow flowers, the signature flowers of the moo blooms. And I also added some hay as food for the moo blooms, and now the stable is looking really cool. Now we just need these guys to move in, which means they need a bigger pen. And I think it's gonna start all the way down here, but also leave some room for a path to go through here. And I think we also need to dig out an entire dirt layer. And on this side here where the hill is, we could add a little retaining wall out of stripped oak wood. And on day 60 I had a giant retaining wall, and this area is all closed off so the moo blooms cannot escape. So let's release them into their new home. And I wanted to do some decorating, but then I realized the moo blooms are gonna do the decorating themselves because they're just gonna spread flowers wherever they walk. So maybe all I'm gonna do is make a little path going to the entrance of this enclosure. And we can also add some leaves on this wall so it doesn't look super bare. Now we've got this whole new area next to my starter house, and I think it's looking so cool. The first step in transforming our base. And another thing I really need is more bone meal because I want to grow more of these flower bundles. And I only have 2 bone meal left, but I have a bunch of seeds. So let's make ourselves a little automatic bone meal machine. And I think I'm just gonna put it in the moo bloom pen so I have another reason to visit here. We basically just have a hopper going into the composter, so we can just add the seeds here, and then it's just gonna fill up and the bone meal goes down here. We don't have to manually click the composter, and instead we can farm more of the crops. But now that we've got a nice way to get bone meal, we also need to work on our next project. And the next one is gonna be for the bees, and I'm gonna use this area up here. This little bee farm here is cute, but the bees keep flying away and getting lost. So my bees are gonna get a really big building where they're gonna feel safe, and I can easily harvest the honey. It's going to be a giant glass house so they can see the sky, which means we gotta buy a lot of glass from this villager. So on day 62 I traded for a lot more glass, but also gathered other resources I needed like spruce wood. And yes, I totally mined the logs with my boots on the way back down. And now we've got all of these resources, but I also need white stained glass. So let's hope my little bone meal machine has been producing. I think if we turn all of it into white dye, we're gonna have enough. But now that means we're out of bone meal again. I also want to use a little bit of moss in my build, so we just need to get lucky and find a lush cave. And of course it had to start raining now. But after a bit of flying, I found a lush tree in the swamp. And of course the tree's in water, so I'm just gonna dig straight down next to it. And I have my bee armor, so I won't just fall, I can just fly. Wait, I just saw it. Lush cave. Hi monsters. No, there's a spawner here. No. Oh no 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 no. Haha. Bee armor for the win. Go away, little child. But there's also some loot here, so let's see what we get. Okay, it's nothing really special. Ooh, a bone. One more bone meal. And an enchanted golden apple. That's really cool. And now we just gotta gather a bunch of this moss. And I just uncovered diamonds. Jackpot. And I got over 2 stacks of moss, so I think let's get out of here again. Now we can just slowly fly up this tunnel. The swamp is stinky, so let's get out of here. I'm out of bone meal again though, so I think what I'm gonna do is just stay up this night and then just kill a bunch of skeletons. And I also want to try out my stinger spear. Get wrecked, Skelly. I missed. Drop your bones. Yes. Ow! Not the creepers! I just terraformed this land! No! Let's just make a diamond sword because mine just broke. Oh, that was another creeper! No! Die, Skelly. Get wrecked. I see you down there. And after killing skellies all night, I had 23 bones, which makes over a stack of bone meal. So now we can craft the remaining white stained glass. But now it's time to finally build my giant bee greenhouse. Basically, everything is gonna be made out of glass with a little bit of spruce wood to hold it all together. And it was all going really well until I got ambushed by pillagers. Go away, pillagers. I'm building something cute for my bees. I slayed. And look, my greenhouse is looking super cute already. We just need to add in the entrance and make a nice little arch. And we also got to work on the inside and make some wooden beams to support all of the glass. And bee armor makes building things in high places super easy. And we also got to dig out the entire floor and also put spruce planks under the glass blocks. Otherwise you just see the grass under it and it doesn't look pretty. And of course we need to add a bunch of beehives into the greenhouse. So I want to get some spruce ones, but also the classic oak ones. And we also need a lot of campfires. And I was thinking to put the beehives in these little areas here here so we can have the campfires in the ground, and then we can add the spruce and the oak ones, and then more campfires on top of that, and then the rest of the beehives. And we can use trapdoors to cover up the campfires. And the reason I got moss is because I want to add a giant moss carpet in the middle of this room, and then we can plant flowers on it so the bees can use the carpet to pollinate. And I also just pollinated on those flowers. Awkward. I also want to cover up this door so the bees don't escape. And I noticed in the Bumblezone they use a specific block to not let bees out of their houses. It's this weird string curtain, and I have a lot of string, and we just have to buy more glass, and then we can easily craft it. Let's add them up here, and to grow them we need to add string under it, and I think that's a really funny feature. I can go through this, but hopefully bees won't. I also need to make this room more at home for the bees, so let's add something really cool here. Let's craft up some stone materials, and then we can build a little fountain right here, and we can use those honey buckets and add them at the top, and now it can just flow down very, very slowly. They had those fountains at the honey tail structure, and I thought that was a really cute idea. And on day 69, nice, I had decorated the entire room and added some little bushes in the corners and also some flower pots on top of the beehives. And I think there's still some space in these corners here to add more planters. And now that we have a little bit more bone meal, we can also add one of those flower bundles. And I also got a spore blossom so we can put that in the ceiling and I can just fly up. And this room turned out really great. Now we just need to decorate the outside part a little bit more. And for that I want to get a lot of coarse dirt, so we gotta find some gravel in the water. And then we just have to mine it all out and not drown. I'm totally not drowning. And Buzz also reached friendship level 900, so now he's even faster. I can't wait to see how fast he is at 1000. And now I've got all of this coarse dirt so we can add it in front of the greenhouse, and then we can have big flower bundles again. And now that everything is full of flowers, it's looking even better. And now we just gotta link up the path from my base over to the greenhouse. And now we just need some bees to move into this place. Let's buy one more of those brood blocks from the villagers, and we can put them inside of the greenhouse. Maybe they can just fit next to the fountain, and you won't really notice they're here. Let's speed up the growing process using some bee bread. Yay! And we got some bees now. And a lot more are gonna hatch from there over time, filling up this entire greenhouse. But I also want to fill up the greenhouse in a different way. When I lost everything to TNT in the Bumblezone, I also lost my bee briefcase, which can basically store bees, so we could move bees from the Bumblezone to over here, because the Bumblezone has special bee variants like blue bees or rainbow bees. So let's go back there, and let's see if we can find another of those honey tails, because they had the briefcase. And I also just found another structure which looks kind of weird, but I can also see loot inside of there. So why don't we just land on top, and then we just break into it from the ceiling. Oh, there's some weird air stuff going on. No, I'm moving. No! Wait, it's pushing me! As long as I move along the side here, nothing is gonna go wrong. This is fine. Give me the loot. More weird stuff. More stuff I don't need. Ah, it's just moving me around. No, it's a dead end. Okay, this structure is just pure evil, and it doesn't have any rare loot, so I'm out of here. Seriously, now that I'm not looking for one of those, I find one straight away. Last time it took me like 3 days. I see you there, little diamond trap. And I just found the most random thing. There's an ice cube with bees frozen inside of it. I'm just gonna leave them be. What in the world? I fly through this wall and it's just this. I don't even want to fly through this, but I have to. It looks like an alien invasion. Oh my gosh, could this really, maybe, potentially, actually be a honey tail? Let's set my spawn and also get protection of the hive just in case. And now let's break in through the roof. Yes, it's a honey tail. Please give me the briefcase, please. I looked through every room and they don't have the briefcase. Why? Wait, there is loot in the chandelier. Hello? Please, do I get lucky? Do I get... Yes! I never noticed those. It was only because I can now fly up that I can see those. Oh my gosh. There is a second one. I thought I would have to go and find another honey tail. And now that we have everything, we can just get out of here again. Wait, I'm so dumb. I didn't bring any bees. Maybe that's a good thing, so we can leave one briefcase here in case we die. And we can also leave all of our messy cocoons. And on day 73, it was right back into the Bumblezone for us. I think I want to get one of those flower crowns again, so the bees will love us. Also, it looks so ridiculous with this flower. Wait, I see one. Come here. Don't be angry. Gotcha. Now I have the bee inside of here. And I found those bumbling bee apartments again. And they weren't trapped, so we can definitely go around here and find more bees. They have a gym here. That is so funny. This guy's called Gloria the Glowing Bee. I'm taking her. That is so cool. And if I wear the whole bee armor, I can shift click and then all the bees are highlighted so I can see them. And it looks like a bunch of them are in here. Please don't be a trap. What is this room? This seems like a trap. Hi, bees. Rachel the happy bee. I'm taking her. She lives in this prison. That's so horrible. They put her in a prison. There's so many rooms full of bee prisons. That's so... Ah! Why are they angry? angry. I don't want to know. I'm taking them. Maybe it's a permanently angry bee. I don't blame them. They were in prison. Anna the cannon bee. She likes to go in a bee cannon. I'm also taking her. They're all chasing a cave spider. Now that's so fun. Wait, hello? There's a you can't see me bee. I got an invisible bee. Now that's a rare bee variant. But I cannot find any more bee variants, so let's keep looking. And my bee just randomly got a crown. I think I reached 1000 friendship levels, so now my bee is a queen. Also another yay. I just found another one of those dance floors. And I know they have bees in here. Why is it on fire? I'm just picking them up. Pyro the burning bee. That is so cool. And I just found another honey towel, which means more rare bees. Well, look at that. There's another briefcase. That is so funny. There's a bee hiding in the honey. Oh, I took it. I got another invisible bee. I just got another rare bee. Got him. And I got a bunch of good loot from that honey towel, including new banner patterns and another recovery compass. Not that I'm gonna need it because I'm not gonna die. And I found another of those weird pirate ships. And there's a green bee in here called Captain Blackbeard, of course. Perfect. And I also just came across this incredibly dangerous looking structure. I have a feeling this is just death, but I just saw a bee variant and I need that one. Oh my gosh, it's a rainbow bee. I'm risking my life for this bee. It got mad too. Okay, bye! There are definitely more bee variants out there, but I think I have most of them now. So let's get out of here. I'm scared. Right after I get this green bee. Goodbye, Bumblezone. Now we can release all of these bees here from the briefcase. Yay! Look, everything is full of bees. The burning bee. That is so funny. And we have even more bees in here. Look at them. They're all so cute. I think my favorite one is the rainbow bee and the burning bee. Now they can all enjoy their lives in their new home. And it was another great day of saving the bees. Also, now I just randomly got the advancement for getting buzz to maximum level. And that also had me looking through all of the advancements, which made me discover that there's a queen bee in the Bumblezone, which sounds super scary, but also super cool. So maybe we pay her a visit later. I also got so much loot from the Bumblezone again, and also 2 new banner patterns. Now we got this peace one and the bee one. Look, it's a little bee. And it's actually so good that we have another honeycomb source now, because another big beekeeper thing is candle making. And we can't only make the normal candles, but also those super big ones. But I want to build a little house for that. And maybe this time we can put it on this side of my base, which of course meant more tree chopping and terraforming on day 77. Now we've got a nice terraformed surface, and we also got a bunch of oak wood from chopping down the trees. So now all we need is just a little bit more spruce wood. And of course we also need honeycomb blocks, and I still have tons of them. And on day 79 I'd filled 2 cocoons with build resources. So now we can take them and build our candle house. And I actually want the house itself to have candle elements, so the best thing we could do is build a tower. And now we just need a spruce trim, and I can just fly up and place it on the wall up there, because bee armor is literally the best. And to finish off the tower, we can add a pointy honeycomb roof on top. And it would also be cool to mix things up and also include some honey blocks, even though they make super slimy noises. And on day 80, the tower was done and kind of looking like a candle. One little tower isn't enough though for a full candle house, so of course I had to build another one and connect both of them together with a little building. This is looking so cool already, and I'm definitely getting candle vibes. Now I just need to add the last finishing touches and also work on the interior, because I have a plan for what's gonna go inside of here. Now the floor and the ceiling is looking a lot better, and it's nice and bright. And now we can add a little candle workstation here. We can add some barrels to store all of the candle resources. And of course we can add all of the candles that we found in the Bumblezone. But I also want to learn how to craft those big candles myself. And basically all we need is string and carvable wax. And I picked up tons of it when I went to the Bumblezone. Now we just need a little bit more string because I only have 13. So good that it's getting dark, because I see another monster killing spree incoming. But I'm also at 43 levels, so why don't we try and enchant my sword so I have better chances. Please looting, please. No! But since I still have so many levels, let's also try and enchant my bee armor, protection 4. So now we're even more protected from those evil monsters. So now the slaying can begin. I'm trying to get as many bones and string as I possibly can. And I survived the night and got 23 bones and 11 string. And also got 30 levels again, so we can disenchant my unbreaking sword and try to get something better. Fire aspect. Ooh, bane of arthropods. That's also deadly to bees, so I shouldn't swing it next to Buzz. And now it's peaceful candle crafting time. I made some of the normal small ones. And of course we gotta craft a bunch of the big super candles. And we can dye them in a bunch of different colors. So now everything is nice and bright and full of candles. And I also want to decorate these little tower rooms. And in this one I added a wool pile as my string storage. And this room over here can be my carved wax pile. And I also just had another idea for how to use my big candles. Let's replace the fence that was here with the candle and light it up. And now we actually have a little candle flame on top of the candle house. I also want to use those candles to decorate my base. But first we gotta work on a nice path leading leading to the candle house. I freed up this area down here, so now we have a path going this way to my base, and we also have another path here, which is a shortcut to the candle house from my starter base. And to decorate this path a little bit more, we can spam a bunch of leaves, but we can also add the big candles here and there. And I actually noticed, unlike the normal candles, when you step on top of these, you actually catch fire. And now we've got candles everywhere, making the space feel super cozy. And another cozy thing I want to add to my base are flower fields. I basically want every single space in between my builds to be full of flowers, which means it's time to get more gravel so we can craft coarse dirt. And I'm just gonna bring my door, and then I'm just gonna take everything from the ocean floor. And I got 5 stacks really fast, and I also need a lot more oak wood, so I'm just gonna steal some from the forest where you can't see it from my base. And then we can use all of that wood to create a little retaining wall in between the different dirt layers, which definitely improves how this hill looks. And then we can also get rid of some grass patches and replace it with coarse dirt. And now we just have to fill this entire place with flowers. And since I'm constantly out of bone meal, we gotta manually collect the flowers, but luckily we live next to a giant flower forest and meadows, and both of these biomes have a bunch of flowers just lying around. And I realized the easiest way to collect lots of flowers fast is to just spill water, and now we just have to pick them up. And on day 86 I was still spilling water all over the flower forest, and at the end of the day I had a whole inventory full of flowers. And now we can plant them in this area and create really cute flower beds. We got all the pink flowers up there and the blue ones down here, and maybe up here we could add all of the red ones. And of course we also gotta add in some more beehives. And now this entire space in between my builds is full of flowers, and I'm really loving it. But I want a lot more flower fields, so I got to work again on day 88. And now it's time to spam the flowers again, but this time I'm gonna make giant tulip fields. And now this entire hill is full of flowers. Every layer has one of the 4 tulip types, and we also have a path going through the entire field. I still have a lot of work to do in my base, but before we do that, I want to find the queen bee. I'm gonna bring tons of stuff to offer to her. I think I've actually found one of those throne pillows before where the bee queen can be found, but I was too distracted finding a honey towel. So I think I just gotta go in the same direction again. I mean, I just found this one again. And after a bunch of flying around and ignoring all of the cool structures, I found the bee house. Just kidding. I found the throne pillar thing. I'm quickly gonna set my spawn, and then we can also wear the flower head so the bee queen knows I'm a friend. I'm actually so scared this is a trap. Oh my gosh. I think that's the queen. Oh, she's giant. I'm scared. Let's create a little landing platform for ourselves. Hello? Royal presence. Why did I get mining fatigue? Hello? I think she's offering me a trade. That's why I brought a bunch of blocks, but I only brought honey blocks. You want this? I don't know how... Ah! The queen's desire. She desires a bunch of honey stuff that I stole. I mean, nothing. What does she trade for the crystals? Okay, she hates the crystals. I'm really sorry. I threw a bunch of stuff at the bee queen, and some stuff she liked and some stuff she hated. She just gave me windy air. Is that a bee fart? I just traded all of my compasses for bee farts. Oh my gosh. I got a royal jelly bottle. Now I'm out of stuff to trade, but I got a bunch of windy air in this cool bottle. So thank you, queen. And now I'm gonna loot her base because there are loot barrels here. Please don't get mad. Yes! More bee armor. Let's go. We got a bunch of cool loot for this, so thank you, bee queen. And now goodbye to the Bumblezone. I'm out of here. Now we can have another armor stand to display our bee armor. And it's kind of creepy looking down on me from over there. And I also want to find out what this windy air does, so let's place it down. Hello? When I hold the air, I can see it, but when I don't have it in my hand, it just disappears. But it's still there, and it's lifting me up. This is like that wind in those stupid bee tunnels. I actually cannot get rid of it again, so it's gonna be there forever. Awkward! And we also got this royal jelly, which I think is a super rare item, so let's put it in here. It's basically an OP potion that could give me tons of effects at once, but I don't want to drink it. I want it to be safe on my wall. Now we still got a couple days left in this world, and I want to use those to decorate the rest of my base, because this middle part here is still lacking a lot of decor. So I went into the scary caves to grab a bunch of stone, and on day 93 I started working on another little flower area. We got a stone retaining wall encasing the wheat field, and the space up here can be a little pink flower field with all of the pink flowers. This is starting to get so colorful, and I love it. And I also decorated the crop field a little bit more and added flowers and hay bales. And I also almost forgot that we still need to continue the path from the crop field alongside these flower hills, and then link them up to this staircase here so we can go all around my base. And after a long day of spamming decor, everything is decorated. Now we just have to tackle this side of the base here. And guess what I'm putting here? Another flower field. But first I had to do a little bit more terraforming and raise up this hill. But I don't just want to spam flower fields in all of the spaces in between my base, so I think we gotta change things things up and also add some other cool bee-related things later. Now we've got another retaining wall closing off this area really nicely. And I want to try and add something fun there. Because we got all of these bee weapons, so why don't we make a little bee cannon and stinger spear range? So we can add target blocks on top of these pillars. And of course we also gotta decorate the area around it. And also separate the range area from the rest of this area. And I'm gonna plant a bunch of sunflowers here because this is the only place we can have them because they only face in this direction. And now this place is super decorated, so of course I need to try it too. So we can try throwing the stinger spear. Yes, right in the middle. That was actually so good first try. And we can also use the crystal cannon. I totally missed that one. Let's try again. I missed again. Yes, this time I hit it. And it's really funny how the crystals are actually stuck in the block. And of course we gotta try the bee cannon too. That was so horrible. I'm really sorry, bee. I'm really sorry. Let's do this again. I just put 3 bees at once in there and boom! And I also put a target block all the way over there, so let's see if we can hit it. Yes! And after a bit of fun, it's back to work because we also have to transform this area here because it's still a mess. First, let's improve how these beehives look by adding some trapdoors around the campfires. And that is looking much better already, so now let's just decorate the spaces in between. It's amazing how much an area can change when you add flowers and greenery to it. And now we have another amazing looking flower area done, and the beekeeping space is looking much cleaner. But I also still have a little bit of space behind the beekeeper's house, so we can add a little beekeeping working area there, and we can display a bunch of stuff from the Bumblezone. So we could have a little table, and then on it maybe a beehive and some item frames with my shears and some honeycomb, and then also some honey storage containers, and we can just dump the honey bucket in there. And we could even take a honey bath, even though that's kind of gross. And I think we can also place down the pollen puff and make it grow into a big pile. And I love that when you jump in it, the particles are flying everywhere. So now most of the Bumblezone honey stuff can be found in this area. And another thing we could add is a big honey storage container. We just put a honey bucket up here, and then it can flow down into this bucket. Also, why did Buzz just randomly come over? Is it because I held this? Yes! Oh my gosh, he loves the honey bucket. I'm sorry, I cannot feed it to you right now. I need to put it in there. And to finish off this area, we can spam a couple flowers. And I want to use the pitcher plants that I found in the Bumblezone. Now I call this a beautiful beekeeping area. And of course, I also need to continue adding candles around my base. But I'm out of strings, so tonight I'm gonna stay awake and slay the spiders. We have a Bane of Arthropod sword now, so this should be fine. But just in case the monsters are mean, I also brought my bee cannon, so maybe they can help me. Do it, bees! Kill this zombie. Get him, get him, get him. Good bees. Creeper. Don't hurt my bees. At least the spiders are a one-hit kill, which is so cool. Die, spider. I mean, there's a cave spider spawner down there in this cave. Should we just fly down and just kill them? Hi, spiders. And I can just take the string from here. I see the spider over there. One-hit kill. Pro Minecraft. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, no, there are 2 creepers coming for me. Very, very slowly. Let's collect all of this before they reach me. No. Thanks for more string. I got almost a stack of string, so this should be okay now, right? Also, the bee cannon is so cursed and I love it. And on day 99, a zombie came into my house, which is definitely a sign to light up my base. So let's take our wax and let's make a bunch of candles. I'm also out of wax, so all we have to do is smelt this beehive beeswax, and then we get more of this carvable wax. And now we can have even more candles. So now we just need to go around my base and add them here and there and light them up so everything is nice and bright. And I also made some small candles to go along with the big ones. I lit up so many candles, I actually broke my flint and steel. I've never broken a flint and steel my entire life. And today is day 100. We survived all those days as a beekeeper. We discovered the world inside of the beehive. And we also transformed this entire base. We got our little beekeeping and candle making area, and our starter house, the moo blooms, and all of the flowers, and the greenhouse with all of the rare bees. And yes, the invisible bee is still there. And I think my absolute favorite part was taming a giant bee, because having Buzz helped me explore the Bumblezone and be my friend in the overworld was such a magical experience. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. And I'll see you all next time. Bye!